Hi, my name is Coach Corey Wayne, and it's my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be relationships based upon horse trading. Well, what the hell is a relationship that's based upon horse trading? Well, as I've said before, the whole purpose of all relationships is that you go there to give. And so when two people are focused on horse trading, it's basically kind of where the guy's like, I'll take you to dinner if you give me sex. Or the wife says, I'll go with you to the company Christmas party if you get me that necklace I really like. Simple things like that. But at a subtle level, what's really going on is that both people are focused on what they're getting from the other person, and since they're focused on what they're getting instead of what they're giving, since the whole purpose of all relationships is you go there to give, is that when you're focused on what you're getting from somebody else, you're constantly making your actions in relation to what you're getting. And so if you don't feel like you're getting what you should be getting, whether it's sex or affection or love or I love yous, or spending time with each other, or gifts, or cards, or love letters, whatever it happens to be, in your mind you say, well, I'm not getting this, and this, so well, I'm going to hold back this, and that from the other person. And the other person, since they're doing the same thing, well, he didn't do this, and this for me, so I'm not going to do this, and that for him. And then two people end up holding back, and then it's like the relationship just becomes like a negotiation. It's like a business. It's like the whole reason you got there to begin with is you're there to give. I mean, when you look at a woman's body, a woman is physically set up to receive a man physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And so when you hold back from the other person, they don't get the gift of your love or your heart. You know, there's an old saying, love was not put in your heart to stay. Love is not love until you give it away. I think it's a great point. I got a guy that used to work for me years ago when I was in the real estate mortgage business. And before he came to work for me, he and I were friends for a couple of years. We used to hang out quite a bit through another mutual friend who had introduced us. We were all in the real estate industry, and we were all in sales in some form or another. They were in real estate strictly, and I did loans and I did mortgages along with the foreclosure fixer-upper business that I was in with my partners. And so we hung out a lot, and I got to know him quite well, and he was a pretty needy guy, and he had some inkling that something was screwy with his wife. His wife was she was a very beautiful woman. And she was a model, and so she was always staying out late and coming home late, and he suspected that something was up. And there was this guy who was younger than her, who she spent a lot of time hanging out with. He was a model too, but they were supposedly just friends. And I mean, he used to sit out in his car like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and wait to see when she came home. This is after she had kicked him out. And so this guy was like basically stalking his wife, and so he assumed she was cheating on him. He was always holding back from her and not giving because he was focused on what he was getting. And what happened? Exactly what he feared happened. Eventually, he found out that they were sleeping together. And, he didn't know for sure, but it was later when I helped him get back together with her that she finally broke down, started crying, and admitted, yeah, I was sleeping with him, when she'd been lying to him the whole time. I mean, he ignored the fact that that she was lying and she was dishonest, and took her back, and then she eventually ended up sleeping with his best friend. And, that was a whole other fiasco, because that best friend actually happened to work for me as well at the time. So it was, I got a love triangle in my office, so it was not a good thing. But when she had kicked him out, and I was friends with this guy, I let him move in with me. And, at the same time, I also gave him a job because he wasn't making very much money working for the company that he was working for. And since I was signing his paychecks every week, I knew how much he was making. And I let him live with me rent free. I mean, I had a $500,000 house. I had a housekeeper, lawn service. I mean, it was a gorgeous house. The room was totally furnished. He stayed in. We had a liquor bar upstairs, and it was a great bachelor pad. I mean, both of us, we had a shitload of fun there. We used to have lots of girls over. It was a great time. And I looked at it. He and I were pretty good friends for a couple of years before he came to work for me. And so I let him live with me because I was trying to help my buddy out. I was trying to help my friend out. And it was interesting years later when we were talking, and it came out how he really looked at things. We were talking, and it was like a heated discussion amongst myself and a couple of our other friends, and he just basically said, I only care how people are of benefit to me. And that was basically how he looks at things. He looks at relationships from a transactional basis. It's like, what am I getting from this? That's his first thing that he's focusing on. If the whole purpose of all relationships is you go there to give, and like right away in the beginning of every relationship, he's focused on what he's not getting or getting in the relationship to determine how much he gives in return. I've been coaching people for a lot of years doing this, and relationships always spiral out of control when they become based on horse trading, because when you're focused on what you're not getting or getting in a relationship, you tend to hold back more and more as time goes on, until eventually neither one of the two of you are giving to each other, and you're not meeting each other's needs, which is the whole purpose of being together. You're there to help each other grow and become more in the relationship. And so back to this guy who I thought was my friend, it was interesting. We were talking, and I was like, I'm just helping you out, dude. You were my buddy. You were my friend. Long before I offered you a job. And I mean, the bottom line is you were living with me. I mean, I was the one paying the bills. You weren't living with my business partners in either one of their families, but you were living with me. And he just looked at it like it was some kind of company perk, and it was something that he was entitled to. I mean, I was flabbergasted at the way he looked at it. It was funny. I'm signing his paychecks, and I knew what his financial situation was, and I mean, after about a year and a half of he's making six figures, and I was like, dude, you've been living here for a year and a half. I think you're back on your feet now, and if you want to continue living here, just pay me $500 a month. It's a great place. It's better than you can get, cheaper than you can get, and it's a hell of a lot nicer than any place you can rent on your own. And like 3 days later, he moved out and he rented an apartment, and I realized that motherfucker's just been using me and taking advantage of my kindness and our friendship and our generosity. And, it was interesting. When you go through like a difficult time in your life, or you go through a difficult struggle, and, the thing that I realized when I was younger, and because I had a low self-esteem, I was constantly getting into friendships with people or dating women that basically took advantage of my kindness and my generosity, because I've always been a very giving person. I like to help people out. I mean, I care about people. I want people to do well. I see a homeless person on the street, and I feel empathy for them. I want to do something that can help people and make their lives better. That's just the place that I come from. But what I didn't realize at the time was that I had a lot of friends in my life because I was very successful. We had a television program that ran on TV. We had an infomercial that ran. And so my face was all over TV. And so I had a lot of people in my life. I had a lot of friendships. I had a lot of business relationships, a lot of acquaintances that I thought they were there because they were my friends. But what I realized once I got out of real estate and became a life coach was that these people that I all thought were my friends, they were really just there because they either got business from one of my companies, or they benefited in some way, either by working for me, or they got business or clients from one of the companies that we had. Because my partners, and we had 7 companies between us. And it was really shocking to me that I had friendships in my life where these people were just looking me in the eye and acting like they were my friend, when in reality they were just there because of what they were getting. And when I was no longer in the business, I had all these things that they could get from me. It was like, hey, fucking see you later, buddy. And they didn't want nothing to do with me. And this one particular guy that I'm talking about, we remained in touch, and I always would help him when he needed help in his relationships. But I was like, hey, if you want me to help you, I'm happy to help you, but you're going to pay me. And I remember he got all pissed off and upset about it. He's like, I don't need your help, screw you. And then a few weeks later, of course, he called and he booked a session and he paid for it. Because this is not somebody I talk to on a regular basis anymore. They're not in my life. It's like I'll hear from him every 3 or 4 months. And he'll call like, hey, buddy, what's up? When are we going to go out and have drinks together? And it's like the same fucking routine. He calls me with the same pathetic sales pitch. Like he's going to win me over or something. Or he's going to butter me up. In reality, what he used to try to do was call like he's my friend. Because he really just wanted my advice without having to pay for it. And I basically took me putting my foot down. And it's like he still does this to this day. He'll still call me. I talked to him a few months ago. Same thing. Things are going sideways. You know, it's like when he calls, I can always tell, oh, things must be going lousy with his girlfriend. He must have fucked up again because he's still having relationships based upon horse trading. And they always spiral out of control, and the women leave him all for the same reasons. And I always help him get the girls back, but it's just a pattern. And like I said before, people don't change. They simply become better versions of themselves. I mean, he's a deceptive person. And over time, he's just become a much more clever and much more charming and much more better at deceiving people, men and women, whether it's something in business or he's trying to get in their pants. So it's just interesting how people operate, and you just gotta learn to stand your ground and realize that if you got people in your life that are taking advantage of you and taking advantage of your kindness, if you're dating a woman and letting her walk all over you, that it doesn't mean that you stop giving the other person, but what it does mean is that you stand up for yourself and have some self-respect. And if being in a friendship or a relationship with someone means that you constantly violate your own principles and your own dignity, then you really should realize and admit to yourself that your values are not aligned with this other person, and bless them and let them move on with their life so you can find somebody who's more of a giver like you happen to be. It's really important. It took me a long time to get over that. It took me a long time to realize, it's funny, when I was younger, my parents saw this. They saw that I had friends in my life. They were just fucking using me for my kindness and my generosity or the people that I knew or whatever. And I learned it, and I became more mature about it as I got older. But the key to remember is that if you're in a relationship, whether it's a friendship or it's an intimate relationship, the whole purpose of being there is to give to the other person, to help each other grow and become more in any way that you can. And so if you find these messages of value, you can show your appreciation by going to the Wibia toolbar, which is at the bottom of your screen if you happen to be watching this video on my website, and click the PayPal donate button. And donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information you received in this video. At the very least, please share this page with all of your friends and family by clicking any one of the social network sharing buttons, which are also located on the Wibia toolbar at the bottom of your screen. If you have a topic that you'd like me to cover in a future video newsletter, or you got a question or topic you'd like me to answer for you personally, click the Contact Me tab and send me several paragraphs detailing your situation, and give me several days to get back to you with a detailed response. And if you'd like to book a paid phone coaching session with me personally so I can help you with a specific situation or relationship, then click the Products tab, which is at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking a paid phone coaching session with yours truly. And I will talk to you soon.